For Idaho News 6, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson. A former Idaho legislator has quite the story to tell. Christian Zimmerman of Valley County was in the cockpit of TWA Flight 847 when it was hijacked on June 14, 1985.
We interrupt our regular program schedule to bring you a special report from ABC News in New York. Here is Peter Jennings.
Good morning, I'm Peter Jennings in New York. We are following the dramatic flight of TWA Flight 847.
We were on our way to Rome, and we wanted them to see the coastline of Athens.
Christian Zimmerman was called in to join Flight 847 when the original flight engineer called in sick that morning in Athens, Greece. Tell me about the morning of June 14, 1985.
Takeoff was normal.
But it was anything but normal. Zimmerman sat behind the captain and co-pilot in the cockpit when shortly after takeoff, he heard a lot of commotion and yelling through the cockpit door. So he unbuckled, got up, and looked through the cockpit door's peephole.
All I could see was a gun and a grenade on both sides of the flight attendant that was pounding on the door, and she was not using the signal to get into the cockpit. And so I swung back around to the guys and said, "We're being hijacked."
Beirut, the hijacker has pulled the pin on his hand grenade.
It gave them time to set up codes on the transponder indicating they had been hijacked.
And I remember saying, "Are you ready?" And they said, "Yeah." And I reached back and opened the door, and that's when all hell broke loose.
Hezbollah terrorists threatening passengers and crew unless their demands were met. Israel must release hundreds of Lebanese prisoners from Israeli prisons or else. 17 days of zigzagging across the Mediterranean from Athens to Beirut to Algiers with 153 people on board. Some of the passengers were released in Algiers and others in Beirut, but not before a reluctant Beirut control tower refused to let them land. You could hear the frustration in the captain's voice.
They are beating the passengers. They are beating the passengers. They are threatening to kill them now. They are threatening to kill them now. We want the fuel now, immediately.
One of those passengers was U.S. Navy diver Robert Stetham, who was tortured and murdered.
I heard him being shot, and I heard him breathe out his last breath. It was a tragic. That's when perhaps we started realizing that they feel no compunction about killing everybody.
The standoff finally ended after Israel agreed to free hundreds of Lebanese prisoners. President Ronald Reagan welcomed them home.
There's only one thing to say, and I say it from the bottom of my heart in the name of all the people of our country. Welcome home.
As for 85-year-old Christian Zimmerman, he now lives a peaceful life in Eagle, Idaho. God bless you. Hell of a story. Hell of a story. And on an interesting side note, Delta Force, a movie starring Chuck Norris, was based on Flight 847. Reporting from Boise, I'm senior reporter Don Nelson, Idaho News 6.